All right, you're alive. Good. Okay. So there is that command. Hey, Jin. And then should I even start the bot? I feel like I shouldn't start the bot. I really want to figure out this YouTube problem I've been having. Maybe we'll do it after the code reviews. So after code reviews, figure out my YouTube API problem, which is really just an error problem. Okay, let's get started with this stuff. I'm gonna go figure out how to even get the code. I didn't prepare for this, but it shouldn't take very long. There it is. Responses. Okay, so 3D Extended was the second person to sign up. So this is the second one of these that we're doing. And I had already done Rami's. So let me go get the repo. Let me make sure I have access. Accept invitation. Okay, cool. So invitation has expired. Oh my God. All right, well then I don't have access. I should have done this the other day. All right, let me just edit this then. Edit. I let the invitation expire. 3D extended. Just gonna look at general mudkips then. Assuming I have access to that. This is why you do prep, everybody. This is why you do it. Hey, Sam. Haven't caught many streams. I've been watching YouTube videos. Doom scrolling one made me start a slightly less immediate fix myself. Nice. Yeah, what's your fix? Okay, so now let's go to the next response. Do I have access to this one? I do. This one's totally public. Okay, so here's the code. So now let me find out what they said. Because I want to make sure we're looking at the right stuff. Here it all is. All right, so what are you hoping to get out of the code review session? Is there anything in particular you'd like me to look at? I'm really new to Next.js, second project with it, and this is my first project using a database via Prisma and an API. So I'm pretty sure that the way I've structured it is pretty bad. My file structure and typing skills are morbid, so any advice there would be amazing. Maybe some of the files where I'm coding CRUD operations, so these couple, or how I handled passing data between components. There's a production instance up. Okay, I mean, I would have had to test this on screen, so I don't know if they didn't want me to show that, but let's see what this looks like. Why are some of the times and dates different colors on GitHub? Where were we even seeing that? Here? Oh, it's colored based on how new it is. Also, I have Dark Reader on, but if you take a look at it, oh, interesting. GitHub looks pretty good without Dark Reader on. Oh, well, I'll just turn it off for this. But yeah, I think it's how recent this all is. So the ones that are months and months ago are like whitish color text, and the ones that are newer are reddish color text. Okay, so continue dashboard. I don't know anything about this application. Sign in. No account sign up. Okay, let me sign up, I guess. So email address and password. Your password must contain 8 or more characters. It's not suggesting. Oh, suggest password. There we go. Use strong password. Okay. Continue. Okay, now verify your email. Sorry, give me a sec. I want to be able to see this. I got the verification code. All right, I signed in. I mean, sign up flow seems good. So, all right, it's loading now, I think. Yeah. So either not pick up the phone in the first case, maybe pick up my book instead, or only scroll when in a scenario where I can't feasibly do anything else. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I hope this works. You know what I mentioned about bending the rules? One of the things about like I can scroll when I'm in a scenario where I can't do anything else. If you find yourself putting yourself in those scenarios more, then you might want to reconsider slightly. But either way, I think it's great. I think it's definitely good for a start. And if it helps, then it helps. Okay, so we've got all tests, points over time, and add subject. Does this mention a grade book for leaving cert students in Ireland? Track your test results, see how you do over time, calculate the points you'd earn based on average grades, and more. All right, so subject name, sure, English. Select a level. Higher. And target grade. The number in H1, H2, 04, etc. I do not know what that means, but I'm guessing H and O correspond to higher and ordinary. So 5, sure, create subject. Interesting. Also the site is responsible and everything. Okay, so I should probably now add some tests in here. I should also turn off Dark Reader. Ooh, that is very bright. Okay, never mind. I'm going to turn this back on for now. So there's got to, I can click subject and then, yeah. All right, so now add test. Winter exams. Test date, sure. Achieved marks, 174. Maximum marks, 200. Percent 87. Can I customize this? I can, but what is this doing? Yeah, interesting. Okay, this I don't think should be customizable, although this is not really a code review, but just like, it looks like this is computed, and yet I could say I got 150%, I guess. Congrats, but you can't get more than 100% on test. It's a cutesy error message. But this doesn't match what I... Yeah, strange. I think that's a tiny mistake. Only follow climbers and climber related pages. Takes about 10 minutes to view all daily stories. Ah, I see. Okay, yeah. I started learning things myself, never had clear restrictions. Yeah, cool. I hope it helps. What's your process when you do a code review? Do you test the PR before reviewing the code or vice versa? It depends on what I'm doing it for. For the stream, I'm not running people's code. In this case, it was on a site, so I'll go to the site. But if it were for work, let's say, yes, I would consider running their code if I think there's a problem or if I need an easier way of understanding it. So sometimes it's just easier to see stuff at runtime. There you go. Okay, add one more test to see your progress. Okay, so let's say spring exams. And let's say this was, well, we can't say it's in the future. Okay, well, we're going to do this in reverse then. So spring is actually in fall. And we're going to say that we got, we did really poorly this time. We got 50%. Yeah, okay, so it's tracking this. All right, anyway, that's the general app. I'm not spending too long going through the app and critiquing it. It was just to make sure that we understand what this thing is doing. So now, what they said they wanted me to look at, let's see, edit test, edit subject. Okay, so let's go clone this code. Clone. Temp. Get clone. Points calculator. All right, so I'm going to open this up, but we're not going to trust this. For whatever reason, it didn't even ask if I want to trust it. Well, that's probably fine. All right, and then what they asked me to look at was edit test and edit subject. So let's go start with that. Just make sure I'm on the right profile. I am. Okay, so edit test. Okay, so first of all, I see TSX right off the bat. So this is TypeScript and I'm guessing React. I should probably find out for sure. Where's the package? There. All right, yeah. I mean, I see React here, but I guess that's not the React I'd be looking at. Yeah, I see a bunch of React stuff. Okay, yeah. So we're looking at React. I do see a bunch of red, which is possibly coming from my setup. Can I find module or its type declaration? I think you have to define globals and whatever it is that's linting here. And I see an ESLint. And I'm guessing this works for them. Oh, NPMI. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, of course. Okay, so the question is, do I want to do that for this? I don't think so. But I still appreciate that you both said that. So here's a point. Okay, so yeah, let's ignore that part. The other thing that strikes me right off the bat is this file is sort of long. And the other one was edit subject that we wanted to look at. Edit subject. Okay. But length in itself of a file doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So we have a lot of imports and then a form schema. Test names must be at least, and this is Zod, I'm guessing. Yeah. Test names must be at least 2 characters, less than 60 characters. Test date is required. Okay, this was for the add test thing here. So name, date, achieve marks, maximum marks. Yeah, it must be above 0. It knows that it's a number. Max marks must also be above 0. Percentage. Yeah, so I think I said I would make a PR and then start kind of writing my comments in there. So let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Now I should have cloned this. Okay, well, whatever. Let's go out of here. I'm not saying what this is because they're not paying me to tell you what it is. But you're correct. It's not water. It's not just water. All right, so let's clone the new one. Let's close out of this. And that way all the comments that I make will actually get saved. I need to also make sure I save without formatting. So go back into points calculator, open this up again, and then open up edit test and edit subject. And this time around, I should be able to write in here. So I can do, this shouldn't be something that the user can specify. It should just, or if it is, then it should modify achieved mark when set. Oh, how do I save without, how do I do that? Save without formatting? KS, oh, it's not Command S, okay. Hey, Vafi. Thanks for joining yesterday. Okay, so then super refine, interesting. This is something Zod does. If you've set both of these and your achieve marks are greater than max, then add an issue. You can't get more than the maximum marks. So if I type 210 here, I see. Okay. Interesting. Just testing this out. I think this is fine. Okay, test type. We have an ID, test ID, subject ID, test name, test date. Yep, this is all the information that we had there. Okay. Got the context here, submit test, update average. This is kind of cool because I haven't used this specific setup that they have, so I'm seeing how this stuff works. There's something called a mutation here. What is API, I wonder? It's their utils API. Okay, so let's go load that up. This is the client-side entry point for your tRPC API. Use to create the API object which contains the Next.js app wrapper, as well as your type-safe React query hooks. We also create a few inference helpers for input and output types. Okay, yeah. I would add to calculate it on server side when submitting as opposed to what it probably is right now, form field on the client side. Yeah, although, I mean, it kind of depends on what this data is being used for. If it's just a personal dashboard, I wouldn't say it really matters. Like imagine, I don't know, a to-do list tracker and you have a bunch of to-do items on it and it just says at any given time you completed X items. And now you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to set X to 99999 or whatever. It's like, okay, I mean, that could even be saved on the server, but does it have an impact? Like, probably not. And I don't know what this data is being used for. So yeah, totally reasonable that if it were being used for something on the server, then I'd need to take a look at that. So yeah, if I end up seeing that, I think we'll take a look. So api.test.edit test. So what do we have here? Test equals, or let's search for edit test. Where? Interesting. Okay, so there must be more to this than what I see here, because API is imported from utils API, which is this that I have, utils API. But then there's a test and a subject in here, and I don't see those. And so maybe it comes from app router. Yeah, here it is. Test router and subject router. Yeah, so, okay, here it is. Edit test. All right, so this is the API that we have. We again have some Zod checks here, or well, I guess just types, but we don't have tests. It looks like the tests are all happening on the client. And I do kind of want to test this, but I would need to run the code myself to see that. So now mutation db.test.update. Okay, yeah, very interesting. It's cool seeing how Prisma works too. Shane, thanks for resubbing. Hey team. Hey Shane. Hey Ice King. Good morning to you too. Okay, so I'll write that down. And this is exactly what Supercuber was talking about. Looks like the main validations around, yeah, happen on the client. So it seems like if the client passes a percentage of 200 here, that it would just be accepted. The validation should probably happen on both ends. You can share the Zod schemas between the two. And then maybe do some client specific yeah, stuff on top of that. Okay. Okay, very interesting though. All right, so that's what we see here. We have a submit test, which is for edit. We have update average. Sounds good. Tests array. Get all tests by subject. Get all tests by subject. Z.object subject ID is a z.number. And then fetch it from here. Interesting. So this again kind of strikes me as like, can anyone just pass in any number here? Because it doesn't look like there's a check to see if it's your subject. And I don't know exactly how this is laid out, so I guess I'll just comment on it. Hey, Haxogen. And hey, Space Cadet. Welcome in, everybody. Today, for those who don't know, is going to be code reviews in the morning and then game design in the afternoon. I've actually had to stop myself from doing more of this, which means I'm at least excited about it. So I'm happy about that. Okay, so I will write this down too. It seems that perhaps the client could specify any number here, in which case they could get subjects that other users have added. I don't know for sure if there's some sort of user level isolation in the database, but this is, well, and it wouldn't matter much for the subjects themselves, but it may matter more for the test results. Gee, imagine seeing other students' results just by crafting a custom API call. Okay. So let's see what else. So that's all of the tests that you have in that particular subject. We format the date, then use a form. Interesting. This is all Zod stuff. Default values is the current date. Test.percentage. Test is passed in as test type. So the type itself knows what the default percentage and everything is. Okay. Calculate average. Yeah. So this is all the charting stuff that we saw here. I think it says calculate average, and I'm not sure if this is for, yeah, we'll have to see. So total plus test.percentage, total percentage and test count. New average. So somewhere there was something that checked how many. No, wait, no, maybe this shows up somewhere else. Maybe this is not what I've looked at. Maybe if I go to home, it shows me. Yeah, I think it's this. Average score is 75. I think that's what it's doing. And I think if I went and deleted a test, I don't really want to do this, but I'll do it. If I delete a test, oh, okay. And then go back to home, I see the average score has actually not changed. That seems like a bug. Yeah, it seems like a bug. If I refresh, does it change? Oh, it actually doesn't. That's a little strange. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe, huh? No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it's getting that information from then. What if I delete this one too? Still says I have an average score of 75. Maybe it's only calculated on adding a test. Let's try this out. Testeroni. Achieve marks 5,000 out of 5,000. Add test. Okay, now I click home. And yeah, the average score got updated. Okay, yeah. So I think this is a bug. I'm not really sure where to write it. So I guess I'll just put it here. Will I ever do C++ dev? Maybe, yeah. I think if I did Unreal, I'd probably be doing C++. I'm generally not a big fan of C++. I think that the last time I kind of seriously used it was probably in like 2005. And I am sure it's changed a lot since then. I know for sure it's gotten some big updates. And now there are ways of doing things that you just kind of shouldn't do. And I don't feel like a language should ever have that stuff. And you have to maintain it for backward compatibility. But like, I don't know. There's some features in several different languages, even JavaScript, where it's like, just never touch this. And if you know that, then great. And if you don't know that, you might be like, oh, this is the way I'm supposed to do things. Comment is kind of rude. Oh, yeah. The one it auto typed out for me that I haven't gotten to yet. Okay, so in testing the production version, it seems like this is only called when you add a test, not when you delete one. So the average on the home page was set to 75. Well, yeah, I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so now total percentage is go get the total percentage here. And if it's more than 0 and you have tests, this part is actually unnecessary because the only way for it to be more than 0 is for there to be tests. I'll write this down, but I think this is a nitpick. Checking test count below is unnecessary since the only way to have a total percentage greater than 0 is to have tests. Yeah. Okay, so new average, parse float. It might not be this calculate average. Yeah, it seems like this is only called when you add a test and when you delete one. I'm not actually sure this is the same average that I'm talking about though. The one that wasn't updated was on the homepage under your subjects. All right, I should really just do this validation myself. There's no reason to make the person whose code I'm reviewing go scramble for this. So let's search for your subjects. And it is here, subject averages card. And there must be a way that we get, there's props here. There's subject data and test data. I'm guessing it's computed from this. Yeah, subject average grade. Okay, so it's this where I want to write this down. Did that just do what I think it did? I don't know. Okay. Mike, thank you for subbing. Welcome back. Might be for TS since it's optional on line 31. Yeah, and you know, some of these things I'm not exactly checking everything, so it's entirely possible that my comment might be wrong or not totally informed. And so in that case, yeah, it'd be the kind of thing where it's like, oh, this is just a TypeScript thing I had to do. And maybe I'll go amend my comment for that. I will write this here, which I don't think we can do unless I make a comment like this, right? So there's only, Updated. Seems like this average is only updated when you add a test, not when you delete one. All right, we'll leave it like that. Maybe TypeScript requires the check. In which case, ignore me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, update average.mutate. Yeah, so this is probably where the problem is, that we update the average here. And I think we need to do this even in deletion. And I'm guessing there's a delete test or something here, right? Not here. How did I get to that? I think it was, yeah, through this. Delete space test. Okay, delete test. Yeah, delete test button here. That calls into delete test. Where is that? That's right there. And yeah, on success. Yeah. So I think this is where something needs to happen here, because here we modify the average. I wrote a comment elsewhere, but I think the average score needs to be modified here. Okay. Then on submit, processing, submit all this stuff. Calculate average is called again. Yep. All right, then error, you must be logged in to edit a test. So this says is loaded and is signed in. Technically, this could be not loaded. I wonder where that comes from. Use user. Yeah, I don't know what is loaded means. All right, where's use user come from? Oh, it's a thing from Clerk. Clerk Next.js is loaded. I wonder what this is. Signs out while on the page. What is loaded though? I don't get that. Loading. Oh, it still hasn't. Okay, I guess I see. You haven't signed in, but it's not that there's a problem. Okay. All right, yeah, that's fine. All right, calculate percentage achieved. Yep. Calculate percent max. What is this doing? Achieve marks and max marks. Parse float max marks. Oh, this is if you fill things in the other way around? Oh, I think I see. Okay, so if I add a test and I set the achieve marks are 50 and the percentage is 100. No, I'm not sure. Maybe the other way around? Maybe if you say there was a 200 and I got a 50 on it? No, that didn't work. It says 0 out of 200 then. Maybe it's the last thing that I had tried. So let's try BBB here and set this to 50 and say that you got 50%. So it should say max marks is 100. No, yeah, it says 50 out of 0. Why? What? Okay, that's a bug because here it said max marks is 50, but here it shows that it's 0. Let's just write a thing about that somewhere. Found a bug if when adding a test, I typed in 50 for achieved marks. How did I do this? 50 for that. Nothing for max marks. And 50 for the percentage. And upon adding it, the UI showed 50/0. Yeah. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to be like UI testing. I just was trying to figure out what this code was for. What is this code for then? Is this ever called anywhere? This is on change for max marks. Calculate percent max. Oh, I see. Okay. I get it. So if you do 50 out of 100, it knows that this is 50. If you change this, or if you change this, it knows to update the percentage. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Which UI library does this use? The code is all public, so I can link this in. It's using React and then some set of components, Radix UI. Okay, so now we have all this stuff here. A test, you're currently editing a test. We have Tailwind here too. Yeah, I don't see anything too out of the ordinary here. Okay, yeah. I think this generally looks pretty good. MVP. Hey, Linda. All right, so let's go back to this. So maybe some of the files where I'm coding CRUD operations. So they said I'm new to Next.js. This is my first project using a database and an API, so I'm pretty sure the way I've structured things is pretty bad. File structure and typing skills are pretty morbid. I guess I should comment on the one thing I had seen is a ... and then, yeah, this stuff. And maybe I'll just write a comment in one spot about this. But you should be able to... I forgot what this is called, like set an alias or a resolve root or something. I forgot the name. That will let you skip having to type ... everywhere that you refer to the API. Yeah. Okay, so that was, by the way, this looks pretty good. It's not like anything is, majorly wrong here. I think not doing validation on the server is not ideal, but for something like a test program is not so bad. It's more concerning to me that you could potentially access other people's data, and I'm not even sure that's true. So now we want to go look at edit subject. All right, so I'm guessing we're gonna have the same general setup for all this stuff. Subject names must be at least 2 characters. This says minimum of 1 though. So this string doesn't match the validation. Let's go see if that's even the case. Add subject A, target grade 6. So select a level. Yeah, I'll just write that here. The error message doesn't match the validation. It only requires a single character. Same comment as above. The message says less than 8, but 8 is allowed, right? If I set target grade to 8. Yeah. By the way, this is not a comment on the code at all, but never having heard of how Ireland does testing, higher and ordinary are pretty funny to me. Because this is I don't even know what our equivalent is in the US, but yeah, it's not higher and ordinary. All right, so subject type. Did I see this stuff elsewhere? I don't think so. But this has everything inside data, which I'm not totally sure why that would be the case. So now we do .data .something every time we need to access it. Yeah, I'll just write that. Perhaps there was a reason for encapsulating everything inside a data property, but I think it will just make the rest of the code more verbose. Yeah, like maybe the API required this. If possible, I'd remove it. Yeah, I just write this here. Maybe it's something your API library requires. Okay. Yeah, relative imports. Let me see. Absolute imports. Yeah, I'll just link this in, I guess. Thank you, Vafi. Yeah. See the link below, or at least a starting point. There we go. Maybe able to just wrap it when reaching out to the library. While you could wrap it, I mean, if it's not what the API expects and then you need to change something else, it's probably not worth it. I think it's only like if you came up with a structure and then realized later, like, oh, wait, I don't need data, that you could just get rid of it. But anyway, this is a nitpick level thing. This isn't super important. Okay, so open, set open is signed in, is loaded. We know that comes from the user stuff the clerk is doing. Use mutation, add resolver. It will work. Interesting. I'm not gonna comment on that too much. I think it's a little weird. If you're gonna have something like this, I think just saying it will work should probably be a little bit clearer about like why you had to do this. All right, fine, I am gonna comment on this. I generally think that if you're going to ignore a TypeScript error, that the reason you give should be more, this is a nitpick level thing though too, more descriptive. All right. Subject edited. Okay, I'm not going to comment too much about how the React stuff itself is laid out. Because some things that kind of strike me, but I don't know what people typically do. There's a lot of nesting here. There's a button here with all of these classes. Possibly this button gets reused elsewhere and should have, in fact, actually we could check for this. Let's search for this style. Excuse me, no, it's only apparently used here. Also, where is this edit button? This is when you're editing a subject. How do we, oh, in here, I think. Yeah, submit changes. Hover BG gray, active BG gray. Is this changing slightly? I can't even tell. Maybe it's not this button. Or maybe this code doesn't represent what's in production. No, it's edit button. What am I talking about? Of course. So it's this button. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see. Okay, no, that's fine. What diamond? Not sure what you're saying there. Okay, so I mean, we took a look at these. I think the CRUD operations are mostly fine. Like I said, other than the database stuff that I had mentioned, or how I handle passing data between components. Okay, so let's go look at dashboard page.tsx. Yeah, this one. Still getting used to typing. Okay, so subject page. We are querying. I wonder what happens when this is loading. I guess once it's all loaded though, that's it. Wait a second, this implies some caching. I'm not going to test this. What language is this even? This is TypeScript. Yeah. So what are we looking at here? Subject page. Where is this? This is exported from page because I see. So it's this dashboard/ID. So this is what gives us all the content on this page. And we start by getting subject query, get subject by ID, and then so we get the subject information and then the test information. Okay, I mean, I think that's reasonable enough. You know, there's a nitpick thing, which is I'm pretty sure if I modified this in another tab that there would be a problem here, but I don't think it's such a big deal. But if I rename this from A to A, and then go back over to, oh, hey, that it did update. Wow, impressive. Okay, so much for my nitpick thing. That's a good job. I wonder what's doing that. Because presumably it's not making calls constantly. It might be something with Prisma. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's good. It's definitely good. Okay, I mean, same general thing here. I would say write a more descriptive error here. Right, so we have a data table. We're going through all the tests that we have and then returning this data. This is inside data table. What is data table? Import from analytics table. So it's this. Okay, what is use React table, I wonder? TanStack React table. Okay, I'm not familiar with this. But so the way that this is working here is we have a data table component wherein we're passing all of the test data, but we're transforming it first. So it's not just whatever came from the database. And, you know, this makes me kind of think a couple of things. For one, what if we were to just pass in test query.data and have data table figure the rest of this out? That's not necessarily a better way of doing things, but it's just thoughts that are going through my head as I'm looking at this stuff. And then how does this work as the second bit? So we're also passing in columns. Yeah, and the columns are something that this thing computes. It's something that comes from analytics table columns. I wonder if we can go to that. Yeah, here it is. Test name, test date, a sorting function, marks, percentage. Okay. Yeah. I think this is good separation, by the way, having your columns be not just baked into the table. And then I guess the columns will have to match the names that are here. Yeah, so here we have a form schema. And here we're returning something whose name I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere. So if I search for subject ID colon number. Okay, this is kind of interesting because it looks like we're defining this in a lot of different places. Yeah, I think this type should be reused. Yeah. I see this type or something very similar being redefined in several locations. I would consider exporting this type and then reusing it everywhere to make things easier to understand. And more resilient to changes to any of the individual types. For example, suppose you changed subject ID to be a string here. You would need to update many locations in the code. Could be with a WebSocket, could be. I'd find the use of an explicit WebSocket to be perplexing, but it might be something that is automatically happening from some other layer. Oh, also, sorry, I didn't have YouTube chat showing. Forgot the is. Unfortunately, I don't remember when this was, so let me see if I can turn on timestamps. 8:48. Okay, yeah, this was like 20 minutes ago. Sorry, Unarum. I completely missed your comment. And hey, Paris. All right, where did I leave off with this? Hey, Funky Monkey. I don't recall what I was looking at. I think it was the other file. Yeah, I think it was page.tsx, this one. Yeah, okay, right. So the reason why I started to mention this is that I think these types need to match these columns. That's my guess, at least. Test name, test date, achieve marks, percentage. I mean, I see achieve marks and percentage, but test name and test date I don't see. It's test.test name. And test name is never, I guess it is. It's test type right here. Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to do this in a more type safe way. I'm going to write a note, but I don't think this is going to be super helpful probably. My understanding is that this has to match a key in the data that's passed in, but this isn't done in a type safe way. I'm not totally sure how you would even do that. Presumably you'd ensure that this key is in the whatever it's called, test something, test type. Yeah, this comment may be way off base. I'm not sure. Search for average updated if I recall correctly. Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that. Update. Actually, I guess I could just search for Adam Learns and then open an editor and then search for update. Seems like this average only updated. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. If you are on Twitch, I can give you a point for that, but I don't have points on YouTube yet. The ads are killing me over there. Is your name the same thing though? Oh, it looks like it would be. Yeah. All right, fine. I'll give you a point over there. Honoram 1. Nice. There's your point. Now you show up on the points leaderboard. Hooray. You know, that's actually going to be a problem at some point if I ever do points to people on YouTube, because there's no guarantee that the names are going to be unique with the ones that already show up on Twitch. So I need some like, which platform are you on? And then it's unique with the platform. With all the other pity point people, that's not a pity point. I think it's nice when people are trying to be helpful. Okay, the other thing, I see a lot of parse int and parse float everywhere. I would say, I know this is a nitpick, but nit save a const at the beginning of this method with the result of, then use it in each of the 3 places that it shows up. That way you could have the error checking in one place for when the ID isn't actually a number. Oh, that actually wasn't you on Twitch? Uh-oh. What's your name on Twitch then? Let me go remove the point from this person. I think this is the only person now who has 0 points. I'm not sure. Or well, explicitly 0 points. Everyone else has implicitly 0 points. Okay, I think that's probably the majority of what I want to look at here. I guess I kind of want to look at the API a little bit more, which, as I had learned earlier, comes from the router stuff that we have. So I don't think we looked at the user router too much. Let's take a look at that. So get by ID. Yeah, this is the kind of thing where you want to make sure you're not able to get other users, especially, by the way, if I really shouldn't do this while I'm streaming. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just write down that to make sure this is not a thing that you can get other people's data. I commented on something like this elsewhere, and I haven't tested this myself, but make sure that you can't query for other users' data using this. Yeah. Oh, Windy. I don't know why it didn't give me a notification. I was actually watching your stream for like 20 minutes this morning. You were complaining about, I think, 4K textures and how you didn't pay enough to be able to use them. People were talking about quavers, and I'm like, is this UK slang or is this just some made up thing in Windy's channel? Anyway, hi everybody. What type is user ID? It's apparently a string. I'm not sure what it looks like exactly. Anyway, for everyone just joining, so I have the code review command that you can use in chat. This, oh man, I'll just type it. Why I typed a D. Yeah, so people can sign up to have me do code reviews. And so I've just been looking through this one. This is an exam score tracker. You add your subjects in here, and then you add your tests that you took in it, and it will chart out your scores and I guess project how many points you should be getting in the subject. And this person said, hey, I want you to look at certain pieces of this code. So I think we've taken a look at most of it now. I only kind of want to spend an hour on each person's thing and just see where I can give some value. And I think we've got something here. So I will check this in and then we'll submit it back to the person. And yeah, just want to make sure there's nothing else besides the comment changes. Anyway, then this afternoon, what we're going to do is work on more of the game design that I started the other day. I think I'm going to make a game, and I think the way we're going to do it is like this. It'll be game design for however many days it takes. So not going to cut corners here. But then we're going to prototype it for a fun check. Going to cut every corner there. Then make improvements to the design and consider whether it's worth developing. And if it is, probably take like 3 months developing it. So we'll cut some corners, something like that. Not recommended to use integers as IDs. Yeah, yeah, and I don't know what the IDs are, but that's another good point. Maybe I'll write that down here. I could probably figure out what it is by looking at the network tab and then just refreshing. Let me take a look. I don't know what this is fetching. User to get by ID, here it is. Okay, no, the IDs are some like large blob, but, and maybe it's not guessable, maybe it's hashed based on a name or something like that. But yeah, that part at least looks fine. Sadly got a dash. Have a great stream. Yeah, take care, Wendy. Thanks for the raid. Yeah, the subjects were using ints, the tests were using ints. I think that stuff's more fine. And actually, I think this is something that we see here. If I just go to the dashboard of like 3, for example, what happens? It says English, but this has other people's exams. Yeah, so this is an issue. And here it's not a big deal, right? But imagine if you wrote like Adam's test that he's anxious about or something. It's like you shouldn't be able to see other people's data. The other thing is I can delete their data, so that's potentially the bigger problem here. Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna check this in. Add comments, code review comments. Overall, I think this looks good. The biggest thing that I would look into is making sure that a user's data is theirs and theirs alone. Yeah. So commit this and sync. Okay, now we go into this and we make a pull request. New pull request. Create. And yeah, create. Okay, cool. So that's it. I will now ping them on Discord. I submitted a PR with my comments here. There's no need to address anything if you don't want. Also, the VOD, the first hour or so of my VOD from this morning has all of my verbalized comments, which I tried to capture in the text comments. Okay, so there we go. All right, so that is all of the code that we have access to, because unfortunately, I never accepted the other invitation in time, so we can't go review 3D Extended's code. So we're coming up on the first break time. What I think we're gonna do, since I can't do anything else. Oh, okay, got it. Let me gift you a point based on that. Q__O. Oh yeah, that is it. Yeah, and I have seen you in chat. Okay, there we go. I gifted you your point. So yeah, I think what we're gonna work on for the rest of the morning is gonna be figure out this YouTube API problem. Yeah, this is definitely the most important thing. I wrote it here. Figure out the stupid YouTube issue from yesterday. Man. Code reviews. Yeah, I have to figure out 3D Extended's thing. I guess I'll just write reach out to 3D. It should be obvious from the ping that I sent. Okay. All right, how are we doing on time, by the way? It's 9:20. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go take my break, and when we get back, we'll try to figure out this issue that I ran into with my YouTube API. I don't think it'll take too long, actually. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Couple of firsts. Quickie Joe's first place win. Potato's first top 3 win. Good job. Blubs evened out the all wins. 4-4-4. Close the game. So for those who didn't see, the code review command is something anyone can go sign up for. This is currently free. There's no restrictions. You don't have to be a subscriber or something. Well, there are some restrictions, I guess, but they're mentioned in the form. It just has to be a family-friendly project, and you have to have a GitHub link. But yeah, no restrictions beyond that. So let's go change the title, I guess, because I can't do another code review right now. Unless someone just submitted one, which, how do I even find that? Google Forms. Go to Forms. Code review signups, responses. No one else signed up. Okay, yeah. Game is a bit laggy. I hope it's normal. There is latency between you and me because you're seeing it through the stream, right? So it's whatever latency you have there. You can see what that latency is. I think if you click the settings gear and go to like view advanced stats or view latency or something. And sometimes if it's more than, let's say, like 7 seconds, it usually just means you need to refresh the page and it should clear itself. Because the fastest latencies people have to me, probably like about a second. And 1 second for this kind of game is actually not too bad. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want to play an FPS for that kind of latency. Okay, so what are we going to do? Adam is going to fix a bug in his YouTube bot. This might not actually take long. This may not take too long. At a stream uptime of about 2.5 hours, he has to stop. But he'll be back in the afternoon for some game design. All right. Okay, now let's go update the title to fixing my YouTube bot. Done. Oh, I should probably update it on YouTube as well. Is there a queue for code review? I want to create a Discord bot in Go or TS and would be happy about some feedback. Just the form, like 5 messages up in chat. If you just click that. The queue is technically, if let's say 5 people submitted and I hadn't gotten to code reviews in a while, I would do them in order. But right now, I don't have access to the only other person who submitted code. So I've done 2 reviews. There is technically a 3rd one waiting. And then, yeah, do we have to join Discord? You don't technically have to. I would encourage you to, but yeah, you don't have to. The reason I ask for a Discord name is so that I could reach out to you and be like, hey, here's the PR, or here's my feedback. I don't know, something like that. For some game design, thank you. Okay, so let me describe the problem to everybody because I was really frustrated with this. We have some code. Let me go find this. Code Abbott here. All right. So we have this YouTube bot, and the way that this works is, let's see if I can find this. There's a read chat messages somewhere. This one. Yeah. Okay. So, the YouTube API is only polling. So there is no socket connection. You can't be told when a chat message comes in. You need to ask for chat messages. So we poll every once in a while and we read the chat messages. And then we try processing them. What happens is when you read chat messages, you might get a message back, or you might get an error actually that just says the live chat is no longer live. This is the only way I can really check whether my stream went offline. And I don't even mean unintentionally. I mean, I click end stream and then I want my bot to stop listening for messages. So this happens after 5 minutes after you've gone offline. So if you want to test this, it's not just like start stream, make sure it found your stream, or make sure the bot found your stream, and then end stream. It's all of these steps and then wait 5 minutes. And this is always super annoying because a lot of times you're like, oh, hey, I have a bug in my code. I'll just reproduce the bug, right? And in this case, I couldn't do that. So, well, not without waiting 5 minutes. So anyway, I know now what the problem is. So here's the issue. We get into this code. and we throw this error. And so this stream no longer live error gets caught over here. There's a catch. And then this if statement is failing. I don't know why this if statement is failing. And I ran a TypeScript playground and I had this, maybe this one. Yeah, so I tested this. I'm like, wait, can you just not use error instance of stream live error? And you can. And here you see it says got special error. This is just the test to see could I do this. So I'm not sure what's going wrong. It must be something about the JavaScript that I'm producing from all of this. And I want to start by looking at that. But if that's not conclusive, then maybe we'll just set up a test bed somewhere else. So if I go into dist here and I search for stream no longer live, what is it called? Maybe that's our problem, is that this doesn't even exist. Where is this? It's in bot/source/YouTube. Oh, but this might have been defined somewhere else. Export classes in YouTube API. Yeah. So we got to go back to YouTube API. Oh, whoops. ... And then go into dist over here and then search for stream no longer live. Okay, so here's where we declare it. This is exactly the same code as what I wrote in TypeScript, I think. I say exactly the same. It's close enough to the same. And then we have this export declare class stream no longer live error. Yeah, so this class still exists. And we're throwing it correctly here. It is a little strange that the bot code doesn't have it though. Maybe it wrote that out. Oh man, if that's the case, then that explains what the problem is, I guess, that this type just doesn't even exist anymore. So we need to go find pull for chat messages inside the transpiled code. So ... bots dist rg, this doesn't even exist. What? Oh, is there nothing in dist? What does this mean? Do I need to build this? I think I need to build this. Yeah, pnpm build. Yeah, I don't care about that. Oh, it doesn't even run if you don't do that? Channel is declared, but its value is never read. This is just me not ever needing this process potential command. Yeah, whatever, just delete it. Doesn't matter. Hey, Abdulhaq. Welcome in. Channel is declared, but its value is never read. So this is on message. Now we just don't need this thing. Can I put an underscore here? Yeah, I can. Okay, so that should fix that. Now we can try running this again. And good, it worked. So now we should have a dist folder. And now I can search for process chat messages. There it is. Now we just open this up. And what is the code? Error, instance of stream no longer live error. I'm definitely missing something. All right, let's just fake this whole thing. I don't know what I could be doing wrong. But here we have start bots. This is main of the whole thing. So migrate if needed. So we don't care about any of this anymore. Oh yeah, I meant to change the YouTube title and I just never did. Thank you, EJ. Also, hi. Did I console.log the type of error? I haven't done that yet, no, because I was just testing this quickly last night and then wanted to go to sleep. Fixing my YouTube bot. Let me just make sure I didn't type this wrong on Twitch. No, yeah, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, sure, safe. I was finally helpful. There's your point. Okay, so we're gonna get this to the point where we're not starting anything. Start bots originally did what exactly? Started YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. Yeah. So we're not doing any of that stuff anymore. So now we're gonna try to replicate exactly what I had over here. So inside YouTube, we have export. No. It's in bot source. No, yeah. So I don't want to do that. I want to get read chat messages. So we're gonna export a function that looks like this, but isn't this. And we're gonna call this repro issue. We're not going to take in anything. It doesn't matter. And none of this stuff matters either. We're not even going to pass in the params, really. We're just going to do this, except for here's what we're actually going to do. Check this out. We're going to say if system.current, is that a thing? System, it's not system. What is it? Whatever. If new date, if date.now, I'm in Java land. And I don't know how those streams even got crossed. So if it's not equal to 12, this is a quick way of just making sure this condition is always true without TypeScript knowing it's always true. Then we're going to throw new stream no longer live error. Okay, and we're not even going to catch. Well, I guess let's just throw the error here. There. So that's our repro. Unnecessary try catch. Yep, delete that. It doesn't say to delete it. Okay, fine, whatever. So this should be like we just got our whole stream offline thing. Now we need to call this from that new code that I need to write in main, I guess. So try repro issue, catch error. And then if error, actually, let's just log it. Actually, not even let's log it. Let's do nothing here. Let's just write test and just put a breakpoint on this. Move unused binding. Okay, I guess we could put a little bit more. Error instance of, what is it? Stream no longer live. Yeah. Yeah, I was using instance of. Also, Dottie, did you change your name color? It was blue. What do you think about Vim versus NeoVim? I have never used NeoVim, so I don't have any thoughts. Would I ever multi-stream to TikTok as well? I guess I could. I don't know. Are people watching coding streams on there? Also, don't you need to have like 5,000 somethings to be able to even stream on there? Yeah, I don't have what this drink is. It's a mystery drink. If the build is failing due to unused param, was the bot even running the latest code? I don't think that would have been a problem because I wasn't running the build command. I was just running the run command. Also, hey, Jason Kent Bayman. All right. So I think this is pretty much it. I think we can ignore the await thing too. So let's go try running this. At least one meme gif on the screen. The thing is, okay, I'm streaming to YouTube right now, and it's not like I have a ton of viewers on YouTube. So if I were to stream to other platforms, it's not that I would need to even like pay attention to them or have, yeah, like 7 people are watching on YouTube. And yet I think that's worthwhile enough, although that's also helping me toward YouTube partnership. The stream itself is a meme gif. You know what? I'm taking that point back. Why do I let these bully mods back in the chat? They're just gonna bully me. Okay, so what does this do? Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, what am I doing? I forgot to debug this. But also, what's going on here? The API throws stream no longer live error. Oh, I didn't await this? Yeah, that's what I meant to do. Okay, now let's debug it. So JavaScript debugger thing, cd package bots ned start. All right, here we are. What is error? So this is false. How do you check if this is a, is there like error.type or type of error? It's just object. I don't get it. How do you check if you have this kind of error then? I guess we would have something in the, we could have something in its prototype up here. Yeah. We could have a method like, is it a thing? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Oh, take care, Jason Bateman. Getting you back for the years of bullying you did to me. I don't remember any bullying. I remember nothing but uplifting and encouragement. Yeah, huh. DNBR, thanks for subbing. Welcome. Yeah, how do you do this? TypeScript check for specific error? Because this is my problem. Is there a thing here? Can I like find the actual TypeScript documentation? What TypeScript version am I on? 5.3.2. You need to catch the error with a specific type. I might need to. Yeah, I might need to put like a stream no longer live error here. Catch clause variable type annotation must be any or unknown if specified. No, apparently you can't. Is it given the correct error? Yeah, so I mean we see this here, right? If I hover over error, it says stream is no longer live. I guess we don't. Yeah, constructor, stream no longer live error extends error. So I made this correctly. I just can't test for its thing, and I'm doing a set prototype. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. All right, so yeah, how do we use errors? Weeding out errors, emitting. Maybe just catch, try catch. Why is this not a thing? Yeah, why is it not a thing? Why can't you search for try catch in TypeScript? Huh. Just sounds like a noise, especially in an American accent. Excuse me, Funky Monkey, I don't have an accent. I don't know what to do here. There's something I could think of at least, which is we could put some like, quack function here and then just console.log quack. And then over here, we could see if error has quack or something. If error.quack console.log got the quacks. Error is a type unknown. Error as stream no longer live error. Okay, anyway, let's try that. So we just go run this. Yeah, so this is one way we could do this, but is there a better way? Works with classes, not interfaces, nor type aliases. Wait, let me see. Is this the same thing that I have here? I'm not getting the same issue exactly. It's not even saying anything that's necessarily wrong. Use type guards. Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is not really possible. You get a target set to ES 2015, it just works and you don't need to do the prototype set stuff. No, but this is runtime checking for a type, which isn't going to exist because there's no such thing as this type. No, wait, but JavaScript still has classes. Anyway, I guess. Do people not hit this issue? TypeScript, try catch specific error. I mean, I guess we could just check for the message in it. Narrow types and catch clauses. Any type. Wait, how did I do this in how did I do that Gaxios error thing? Instance of common.gaxios error. Yeah, how did they do this? Declare class Gaxios error t equals any extends error. Constructor. Let me see what this is. So my TS config for the YouTube API has what? Compilation target. Where do you even set that? Just target. Okay. Target is ES next. I mean, this is probably written before, I don't know, maybe before ES next was a thing. It's like 3 years ago. It kind of sounds like this should just work, which I don't know if that means that I can just delete this and then it'll work. Did we get true now? No. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let's go try this again from over here. So, I mean, this looks like the same general error, and we're already printing this out, so I already know this is going to say false. It's just weird to me. Like, we have it must know that its prototype has this in it. Yeah, and maybe it's some ES next thing, like TypeScript ES next error instance of. I don't know if I'll even find it like this. Hey, wait a second. That's actually a pretty good test. What if I did that? Const test equals new stream no longer live error. And then if test instance of stream no longer live error. Like, is this something cross package? So if I just do that, what prints out? Yeah, it knows this. Okay, wait, yeah, something's fishy here. Let's try another thing. What if I put that exact same method that we had? Let me close all these things that we have open. Where did that repro issue go? There it is. Yeah, so what if I put repro issue over here? Repro issue local. It doesn't really matter what this thing returns a promise of. Promise void. Just return. All right, now we need to await something that's actually valid. I don't have anything I can await. Oh, we can call it a real repro issue. It's never gonna get called anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right. There we go. All right, so now let's call the local version of this. What does that print out? I'm guessing true. It does. So something is wrong when I import this from the YouTube package. Oh, maybe because I'm importing it and it's already JavaScript at that point? What you're encountering is probably an ES build issue where you get different instances for the same class across imports. Hey, Hideo. Importing other packages. This base package contains error handling code that utilizes the instance of, which appears to not work. Also using Zod, which is imported. Problematic code is located within the base package. Despite throwing the Zod error, instance of always returns false. Yes, this is exactly my issue. Notice ESBuild is generating 2 distinct Zod error classes. So what was their solution? This is pretty recent. Okay, I guess I have to read the responses. Suspect that 475 is irrelevant. I don't have time to investigate your code. Generally, when this happens, it's not a problem with ESBuild. Need to figure out why your code is including multiple copies of the same package. Sometimes because your code is encountering NPM's dual package hazard. Sometimes it's because there are multiple different versions of the package on the file system after an NPM install. You have 2 packages, and both of them are importing Zod in their source code. Both of them are built into CJS in their command, with all their dependencies bundled in. See what happens. Bundle Lambda into CJS with handlers, lib, and Zod. Okay. So first of all, let me copy this over to here. Write notes on the problem. I'm pulling in this YouTube module stuff for including the distributed version. So this error, stream no longer live error, is something I defined. Like YouTube doesn't even come into play here. It just happens to be code in my YouTube bot, but like you could repro this without ever touching the YouTube API. Do you use ESBuild in prod? If not, you can mark that as a dev-only error, as I don't think it's fixed in ESBuild, or use another approach. I don't know if I'm using ESBuild anywhere. Apparently I am. Because I have a bunch of ESBuild stuff. But I don't know what's using it, and I don't think I understand enough about this yet to know how to fix this. Is ESBuild the thing that shows up over here? No. Am I not using TSX? So when I run this and I get the problem, it's when I'm running it like this. I run TSX source main, and I do hit this issue. I have not tried this in production yet because I can't get it working in development yet. So I don't know if this is a dev only issue. TSX is ESBuild. Okay, got it. Run your repro while building. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's build this. pnpm build. I don't know where that came from. This stupid stuff. I gotta not use test code for this. What is going on? Hang on a second. Let me make sure this is actually stopped. Yeah. Okay, so where was that code where I called repro issue locally? Here. So we can just get rid of all the things that I'm importing that we don't actually need. Except for we did need repro issue. And we do need stream no longer live error. Everything else should not be necessary. Yeah. Okay. I think it might treat this as an error though. Let's find out. Okay, no, it worked. All right, so now we have this in dist, and then we can run this with, let me see. Do I have an index file? I don't. Oh, I do have main. Yeah, here. Okay, so I think we can just do no dot, I think. Cannot find module, stream no longer live error imported. I wonder why I'm building all this other stuff. And this exists, right? No such file or directory. Oh, because it's TS. This is, I'm running this wrong. I don't know how I'm supposed to run this though. I don't know if I wrote it here either. Node. Nope. All right, I'm not sure, but I suspect this might not be a problem here. Oh man. Yeah, I'll definitely need to write some notes on this too. How could I run this? Yeah, I don't really know. Dist main.js. I think this is pretty much the same as saying this that I have here. Yeah, and I think it's going to continue to say this because it can't find this path. Although, how did any of this work then? There's got to be some other way that I would run this. And I just don't remember what it is. Yeah. Well, how do I run this when I'm doing it from a Docker image? Node app deploy. Oh, I need to do all of this stuff. Oh, this is gonna be kind of annoying. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of annoying. I guess we could just run it from the Docker image and that would test the same thing. So let's figure out how we do that. That should at least be slightly easier. Yeah, manually building the Docker image. Build bots from the root of the directory, run this. Okay, and then what? It needs to be run from the root. All right, then I guess we just start it, right? So what's our command for this? Docker run, and we want this. I actually don't want the entry point. I just want this. All right, this should be done pretty soon. Good. Now, actually, let's do Docker image ls. There's Abbott bots, latest, created 7 seconds ago. Yeah. Hey, Liquidor. Hey, Schwartz. So I'll do latest here. It's the same issue. Oh man, what am I doing wrong? Here it's looking in app YouTube API source. Imported from dist main. Oh, you know what might be happening? I might be importing this wrong. No, this looks correct. Oh wait, no, it doesn't look correct. What am I talking about? This is supposed to come from YouTube-API. Okay. Oh, I wonder if that's the issue this whole time. Oh my God. Oh, that would be a shame. Yeah, I think that might be the problem. Oh man. Where's the index that I had here? There it is, index.ts. Oh no, I think that's the issue. Oh no. Export star from stream no longer live error. All right, as long as I'm looking at this, is there anywhere else that I might have made this mistake? We have get tokens, API. No, that's it. We have 3 files. All right, I think that'll fix it. So now we want to import this from the right location. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Yeah, now if I run the code, oh God, I can't believe it. Does this just work? Yeah, of course it works. Oh man. All right. Yeah. Yep. Oh man. All right. Well, I I will I'll give a demo point for that. Yeah, so this solves everything. And now we need to write down why this happened. So let's go to TypeScript. I somehow don't have troubleshooting in here. What? Huh. I guess half of this note is from the basics section. No, it's from handbook learnings. Yeah, handbook learnings is like the entirety of the note. That's probably not very smart. I should probably fix up this note at some point. Well, whatever. Anyway, let's add in a troubleshooting section and say error instance of some error not working. Yeah, take care, Hideo. Thank you. Oh man, I wonder if all my code is just going to work after this, because now what we run into, so this I don't have an easy way to test. But like I said, if I go live on YouTube and then I end stream, so start YouTube stream and then end YouTube stream, it doesn't just repro immediately. I have to wait 5 minutes after that. The other problem is I don't have a way of starting another stream at this point. I don't have an easy way of doing that. I think I need to make another. No, I don't need to make another YouTube account. I guess I need to test this from my Adam13531 account. All right, I'll set that up at some other point. but yeah, I'm pretty much saying we can't really test this now. We just have to trust that it's going to work. But we can write notes, so let's write notes. Okay, so the issue is related to this in that there are likely two versions of some error. In my specific case, when I hit this last, I was doing something like this. I had a mono repo with bots and YouTube API packages. The YouTube API package exported a stream no longer live error. So we don't need the quack stuff. I'll fix this up in a sec. In fact, let's write this down here. So where I left off, fix the code so that I don't have the bug anymore. And we're writing notes on this. Cool. So YouTube API package exported a stream no longer live error. And this, we don't need this. We don't really need to write anything about this, I guess. The bots package imported it via... Okay, so now here's the issue. How do I get what it originally imported from? Because I never exported it the right way. Do I have that code still? I guess I could maybe just... I know I can recreate it, but let's go find that repro issue locally. I'll just Control Z a bunch of times. Yeah, it did it this way. Imported it via this. And then the bots package had code like this. And the code was like, just call a function and check to see. Wait a second. Could I have repro that? Hang on a sec. I want to test something out here. The problem, all right, so I do this. I get rid of this thing. I want to see if I can repro this. We didn't have a problem with this one. Yeah, because this would know the instance of. So there were two of these. Wait. Right. Okay. I understand now. The YouTube API package has one view of this thing, and then the bots package has the other view of this thing. That's what I got to write down at some point. The reason... Hey, Wingout. Happy Friday to you, too. The reason why this was happening is that the stream no longer live error had two versions. One that the YouTube API package saw. This was the real version. And then one that the bots package imported. This was due to the build process, which is, yeah. The YouTube API package was being transpiled and then imported. Whereas the bots package was running with TSX, which is ESBuild, yeah. Or what, which uses ESBuild, I guess. Okay, so still need to keep writing stuff. The bots package had code like this. It doesn't really matter, the code is pretty simple. It was anything that just calls a function, some issue that throws the error I defined, and then this. Okay, so paste that in, and that is TS. Okay, so the problem is that this would log false, even though I expected it to log true. Yeah, so the fix in my particular case was to export the stream no longer live error version that from YouTube API. I just added this to its index.ts. Where's YouTube there? Well, no, I guess I technically did two things. Fix in my particular case. So add this to YouTube API's index.ts and then import from bots using the new path. Where did that go? I don't know what this file is called. It's called main.ts. I keep searching for init.ts. This isn't even it. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. And just delete the comments and delete the other thing that'll pollute this. Whew. Hey, Sir Peplon. Read what VSC suggests, and when auto importing, there are multiple possibilities. Well, the problem is there weren't multiple possibilities there. I had not exported it correctly. So I think when importing it, it wouldn't have ever found this. So here, if I say, it says cannot find name. Yeah, there's just the import that I had from the local path. No, but if you ever see source, you know it's weird. Yeah, okay, that's true. But I mean, I didn't know until now that that was potentially a problem. So now I know. Let me go right. I guess in here is where I have the mono repo thing. Well, maybe I'll just write this here. I guess in general, if you see source in an import in the path of an import across packages, you know there's a problem. Yeah. Do you not use async as postfix on method names in TypeScript? No, I like doing it as a prefix thing. I actually didn't even realize you could say it as a postfix. Remove unused label. Huh. Okay, well, I'm not sure if it is possible, I guess, but yeah, I'm just fine with this, I guess. I think they mean naming the function as blah async. Oh no, I don't see a need for that. That's like Hungarian notation, having, you know, name string or something as your variable name. I hate all this. Okay, so now we're at the point where we can clean up the code. Oh man, what a relief though. Because here's what I was worried about. Now, before I knew that this was the problem, I thought it might be that the YouTube API just wouldn't tell me when my stream went offline. And what especially made me think this is that whole thing I mentioned earlier about the only way to test this is to have a 5-minute wait. And 5 minutes is long enough where it's pretty easy to think, okay, I just coded something wrong. And then after 5 minutes, it finally was like, oh, hey, got the error. And I was like, okay, but why didn't it act on the error? Now, even after all of that, I don't know for sure that my code is going to do what I want it to do. So how do I show this? Yeah, right here. Send YouTube stream offline. This better work, but I don't know for sure that it will work. So we're going to send it in both these cases. And in that case, we set this to offline. And if we're offline, our polling should work. Let's see if that's correct. Check if live. Yeah, every 60 seconds, we check if live. If we were already live. Yeah, so we never got out of this if statement before. But now we're going to set ourselves to offline. So now we'll get to this. Get live stream, video, live chat, whatever. And if it's undefined, we're still offline. And if it's defined, then we're online. Yeah. And then the only way to test this properly is like Monday, maybe, assuming that I got this into production, that Monday should kind of catch both of my streams and just automatically start responding to people. Yeah. Still best practice to name with postfix, at least according to MS. I wonder why, because shouldn't the compiler catch that in C#? I wonder if you could just add in a check for that. Because I'd rather not add async to every single method and have some static analysis tool catch it. So wait is the one jump game long? Wait, what? So the wait is one jump game long. Oh, the 5 minutes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, my bad. I think I misread your message first. Okay. Oh, still have to clean up. Let's see. Where is all this stuff? I guess I totally destroyed main here, huh? Yeah. So we want this to probably just be all the exact same code I had. Yes. So we can just revert the file, but I'm just going to click these buttons for right now, which is pretty much the same as reverting. Okay, so that one's done. What next? Bot, we removed channel. This technically is standalone and can just be checked in on its own. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Remove unused parameter. Okay. Then what's this? This we don't need. This we don't need. This should just be console logs, right? Yep, it is. Okay. Okay, cool. Slowly getting through it. Command data. This was just a mistake. Remove noisy log message. Yeah. Then what do we have here? Repro issue. We no longer need to repro it because we shouldn't have an issue. Console.log, totally fine. Okay, index.ts. This we definitely need. Whoops, what just happened? wrong thing. There we go. All right, and then this is, yeah, we can get rid of the prototype, I guess. All right, so now the problem is that we're importing the wrong way. So we just search for import.star source. There it is. So you go away and you come back. Now, did that get it correct? Yes, it did. And there's our bug fix. Simple. Yeah. Fix bug with YouTube bot. I was importing stream no longer live error the wrong way. So there was no way to tell at runtime whether I had such an error. So my bot never thought that my stream went offline. Yeah, that's it. Why won't this? What's going on? What's going on? Why can't I access the quick fix menu? What? What's happening here? Is it because I have a diff thing open? No? What? I don't know what that was. For whatever reason, command period isn't working. Huh. Never seen that happen. Shortcut doesn't work, it's tracked. But it was working like the other day. Can you expand on why you don't want to name your methods method async? Could be caught in something. Oh, yeah. The something I said is static analysis tools. So typically you have, for some languages, a compiler, you have a linter. These are things that are going to check correctness of your code. And then also your linter could check maybe your style of your code as well. And so let's say you have something like, let's take C, for example. So in C, you could write something like this. If is visible equals true, then like whatever, print, do something here. So what's happening is we have a variable here and we're actually setting it equal to true. And then we're seeing if this entire thing evaluated to true. So this will always be true. We always enter this. This is valid C, but most people don't ever mean to type this C. So what you could do is you could say that this equals is considered an error, even though it's not really an error. You could also like automatically change the code so that it's forced to look like this. This is what people used to do before they had a lot of static analysis tools. So anyway, this is another one of those cases where it's like you could have a tool check before you even run your code. Hey, are you using a wait on all of your async functions? Got it working one day and that's it. I see. I wonder if this will save YouTube quota. It will, yes, because now we won't be pulling for chat messages every 15 seconds. We'll be pulling for a stream every 60 seconds. And I assume pulling for a stream is cheaper to begin with, and also we're doing it a quarter of the time. Convention using .NET to more easily. Oh, I'm sorry. Just to be clear. What happened to my mouse? Okay, just to be clear, I wasn't saying that you were lying or something. I'm sure this is the way that they suggest doing things. I wouldn't want to do this, and I see this is even written recently, but like I would just change something about my build process so that it points this out. And maybe they're saying in here there's a reason why they can't do that. I don't know. Hey, Endem. Build process does too. Yeah, so I think we've now checked this in. No, we haven't. I forgot to hit commit because I ran into that issue. Yeah, but this all looks fine. Okay, now there's one last thing that I might need notes on here, which is I used to have an object.set prototype of. Do I have that in my notes anywhere? Object.set. No, I don't. Okay. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to have Command B open and close this thing. How do I do that? Hotkeys. What is this called? Collapse? What do you... There is no collapse here. What is this sidebar called? Navigation, maybe? I have no idea. Toggle left sidebar. Okay, that's what it's called. All right, so can we make a hotkey for that? Left sidebar. Yes, thank goodness. Okay, so let's make that Command B. And the conflict I'm guessing is going to be to make text bold. Yeah, I do not need... Do I ever need that? No, I don't think so. I think I'm happy to just type it out. I'm making a mistake. Should I make it like Command K, Command B? All right, let's take a look. Can I even do that? Can you make chords? X plus K, B. No, you can't do that. All right. Well, whatever. Let's just get rid of the bold one. And if it turns out that I want that, then we'll just complain about it later. Left sidebar is going to be Command B. And now for the right sidebar, let's have it be Control. Oops, not Control G. Control backtick. Oh, you can't do that? Huh. I wonder why you can't do that. Maybe I have it bound to something else and it's not even making it to this program. Well, let's at least see if that works. Yes, it does. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. How do I close and open this one? Maybe Command O. What does Command O do right now? Makes a link. I don't need that. Yeah. Okay, so right sidebar. I accidentally clicked that side of it. Command O. Now it has a conflict with make link, which we delete. Cool. I finally have shortcuts for this stuff. Yeah. Technically, the bold hotkey is just 2 asterisks. Yeah, I guess you could always do that. Yeah. So yeah, having an extra one doesn't really matter. Finding out you can't set up a keybind or shortcut you were used to. Yeah. The whole no mouse navigation thing. That is kind of weird that VS Code never added that. And people have been asking about it too. But yeah, so VS Code has key chords. And so if I want to close, I guess I could just show this here. What is it called? Explorer, I think. Yeah, so here's an example of a chord. Command K, Command B. It's actually like 2 hotkeys together. And Obsidian doesn't allow for that, which is fine. I don't think most programs really need it. The reason VS Code does is because you have like a million possible things you could hotkey. But in a program like Obsidian, you have what, 100, 200? Oh. Okay, so where do we stand now? It is 10:18 and I have to get going by 11. So I have another roughly half hour. I'm not sure we can fit in that time. We could do some game design. I want to do it in the afternoon anyway, so we could get a head start on it, and it fits into that slot. Yeah. Got to write a note here. Set hotkeys in my private Obsidian for Command B and Command O, left/right sidebars. Okay, so let's take a quick break, and then we'll do some game design. Excuse me, I know we've been bouncing all over the place this morning, but I don't know, things have been pretty good. I've been pretty happy. By the way, so I recorded the first interview last stream. If you want to watch on Twitch or on YouTube, it's there. But I had talked to my friend Amanda, and she works at Microsoft. Just kind of asked her questions about her career, what she does for content creation, sorts of things. I had fun. I like doing it. I did notice that. How do I find this stream summary? This was, yeah, the end of Wednesday. Somewhere they've got. I don't know how to find this. Oh, chat message. Here we go. Average, no, live views. Something like this. I don't know. Anyway, the viewership just kind of was like dropping during that time. And I don't know, like, is it content people want to watch, but you want to see different kinds of interviews, or is it like you just wouldn't want to watch an interview on this channel? So I'm curious about that too. I'm going to go take my break though, so I probably shouldn't have started the conversation right before leaving, but yeah, I'll be back. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hey again. All right, close the game. Let's see. So let me change my title again. You know what I'd really like to do is come up with a name for this game at the very least that I'm going to work on. So designing my new game. Yeah, sure, whatever. All right, done. And then let's go change it on YouTube as well. What kind of sucks is that we're going to have this title though for, anyway, designing my new game. I'll just write in the description, this stream was sort of all over the place. I did a code review for someone. I'll put this link here. I shouldn't have decided to do this right now. Sign up here if you want. I fixed a bug in my YouTube bot. And I spent a little bit of time designing my new game. Save. Okay, now, do we have a link to the game? What do I call this? What do you even call the game? Evolving, I think. I probably can't show this on stream. Hang on a second. Yeah. All right, so here is the document. Does this show up in any commands? No, so I never made a command out of this. Okay, well, do I have a design command? Designer. Okay, I don't have a command for that. All right, let's add one now then. So add com design. The game design document that Adam is working on is here. It's not a link to a document. And this is public, right? Yeah. Debating, like, should I work on this with other people? I don't know. It's averaging around 7 to 10 seconds. Check my settings. The latency's on. I have rather good internet, but maybe it's because of my region. I'm in India. It's possibly because of that, yeah. Yeah, well, sorry. I guess there's nothing really you can do. Maybe you could try lowering the quality and seeing if that somehow helps. I'm not sure, though. Anyway, for those who want a quick overview of this game, the way that... I should probably write something else in here. The way that this works is it starts out and it's very similar to Final Fantasy 1. So Final Fantasy 1, and yes, I've been showing this set of pictures a lot. But yeah, you start out, there's an overworld, you got a character, you selected maybe 1 or 2 or 3 characters, and you move around and you get into battles, and they're just turn-based battles, and the game kind of sucks. And then you slowly unlock automation for all of these things. So your fighters start acting on their own accord, and then they're moving around the world on their own, and then you get more and more parties, and so that's the general idea behind the game. I mean, it's nothing like super revolutionary, but I think it'll be interesting at the very least. I haven't picked out a game engine, and the plan is this. So spend however long it takes designing the game. Hard to estimate calendar time due to since I only stream for 3 days a week and I have other projects going on too, mentoring, interviews, etc. Then prototype the game as fast as possible. I'd like to take about a week or 2 doing this. Again, hard to say how many streams that'll be. And then figure out do a fun check with everyone and figure out what needs to change about the design. And then if the game seems fun, develop it over the course of a few months. Yeah. It's not exactly an idle RPG, I'd say, but it does kind of turn into one. And yeah, then the question is like, how much do I lean into that exactly? And I mean, I've got some ideas for some of this stuff. So a few things that I want to do because we don't have much time right now. I want to think of a name for the game. And that way I can, we can start talking about this. I can have a command for it. I can eventually make a repo for it. And I made something, hang on one sec, engage privacy mode. I made something in my notes. Let me open this up. Okay. Something in my notes about what this should involve for the name. Okay. So here's what I wrote. Name of the game. Title of the game should probably communicate some combination of, Evolve, RPG, Idle, Fantasy, Battler. And then I wrote, could just call it Botland 2. The problem with calling it Botland 2 is that I think we need to have a bunch of like bot-based graphics, Oh no. But actually, I really like the idea of that because it is still in the automation style of game. And yeah, but if people like this, they might be like, well, how do I play Botland 1? What was that game? I'll be like, you can never do that. Can break out my t-shirt again. Well, but that's the other part, right? Is that unless it has the same logo and everything and the same aesthetic, then I need to change everything. That didn't take as long as I thought it would. I had mentioned that I wanted to make a Botland 2 at some point. And like I said, in spirit, this essentially could be called Botland 2, and I think it would make sense. But I wanted it to be sort of more along the medieval fantasy aesthetic. And for that, I think calling it Botland 2 is not suitable. Hey, Darkstorm. How do I use Amazon Prime to subscribe now? I don't know. They made it a lot harder, apparently. Batuland? This plays nothing like Botland 1. Well, is there some way that I could... I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't even worry about that. But yeah, so title of the game should communicate some combination of all this stuff. So how about this? Let's start by asking AI what it thinks. How do I show this without... Oh, there we go. Okay, so I am making an RPG that starts out with the player manually controlling their characters, but then it slowly becomes more and more automated over time until the game is mostly playing itself. I'm trying to come up with a title for the game. Something that's related to the core idea. So probably words like, oh, thanks, Coyote Kid. Yeah, elevate your subscription. Yeah. Collapsing the chat is what I just realized. I wanted to make sure I had that. All right, so some combination of, what did I write? Evolve, Idle, Fantasy, Battler, or maybe something along the lines of losing control. Can you give me a bunch of names? Should be a command at this point. Okay, yeah, let's see. I have the prime command. I can just edit this. You have to click elevate your subscription. It doesn't even make sense, elevate your subscription. Like, what a weird thing. Even though you're not using a tier 2, tier 3 sub. It's hidden at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. All right, so Evolution of Shadows. Makes no sense. Idle Chronicles. This all sucks. Why does it keep coming up with shadows here? Ever say anything about shadows? Automation Ascendant actually isn't too bad. It just doesn't communicate that it's a game, I guess. And that's where you would need a subtitle. Yeah, Fantasy Evolution, but even this doesn't communicate it's a game. How about this as a name? Final Fantasy 1, but automated. I'm sure Square Enix will be fine with that. Yeah, I don't have any great ideas. Like I said, I kind of just want to make it Botland 2. The other thing that I kind of wonder about is like, let's say I did just call it Botland 2, and let's say instead of medieval fantasy, it was robot graphics. Where would I get the robot graphics from? Like, are there robot asset packs on itch or something? Let's find out. Game assets. Robot characters. I need a bunch of them. Not really seeing something along the lines that I would want. And I mean, it is possible to get someone to make art for this, but I do not plan on spending tons of money on this. And I think to like fairly compensate someone, it'd be pretty tough to commission art for this. Yeah, I don't see. I just search for robots. This is finding games as well. Isn't Bing Chat effectively GPT-4? I haven't tried it, so I don't know. I don't see. Wait, what? Game assets tagged nuclear throne. Well, I guess we look at sprites. And I guess from sprites we try to find like some robot thing. Could I call it Botland 2 and just not have it be robots? I don't think so. Free robot warfare pack. This is actually a pretty cool aesthetic. I like this. It's not a big enough pack though, where I think I would have what I need. I'll regret it. I'll regret what? Hiring someone? Naming it some way? Itch sale, perfect time to shop. Yeah, I was looking through some of these. The problem is I haven't designed enough of the game to even know that I want to do this yet. I've also paid for artwork in the past that I was thinking I could just use for the prototype regardless of whatever aesthetic we end up with. Because I think for testing for fun, you don't have to worry too much about like, does everything make sense with your design? It's mostly just like, would the game be fun? Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty hard to find. Here's something that's like kind of close. I mean, these look like robots, but I'm probably just going to be scrolling through like 12,000 of these things if I keep looking. So I think we just stop. Yeah, so I think we have to come up with a name that's not necessarily bots play alone. Maybe use placeholders. You might end up buying an asset pack, but your content will require way more than what it offers later. Yeah. Yeah, and there's a way to sort of avoid that, I think. Like you can make the game if you know you have limited assets, you could make it in such a way that like, you know, the battles just get phased out completely eventually and it becomes an item management game. And I think at its core, that's kind of what this game is. It's like it starts as genre A and transitions to genre B. And so this could be farther away from what A was originally. But yeah, this is the one thing I wanted to have something about. I don't have a great idea for a name. I don't have a new game thing yet. I just had this design. Can you sell your game with these assets? Typically, any of these assets that you buy are going to have some commercial clause in their license saying like, yes, you can use it commercially. almost all of them are just going to say you can't just resell this pack. So, don't go buy the pack for $10 and then go sell it for $8 somewhere else. Because when you make even 2 sales, you've already come out ahead, So it's pretty easy to just keep lowering the price for other people. But yeah, most of them are going to let you, like the whole point of making these assets and then selling them is so that people could use them in their projects. And yeah, typically they'll be monetized projects. Okay, well, I will say this. A lot of games that end up being idle have idle in the name somewhere. And out of curiosity, does idle land result in anything? Idle land tax in the Philippines. Sounds like a fun game. It doesn't. Oh, idle lands. But not idle land. I'm going to search for one other thing, but I want to do this off screen just in case it has something else. Yeah, no. Idle fantasy has already been used. That'd be a good one because it combines the Final Fantasy and idle. I don't know. I know I'm spending a long time on this, but of all the things, I feel like this is something I want to come up with at some point, but maybe now's not the time. I should let inspiration strike. Final Fantasy. I feel like I'm just I'm just waiting. Like a lawyer's gonna knock on my door and just like slap me across the face and then walk away, and I'll be like, I know who that was, I know why they did that, and I will go change the name. Change idle to auto, as most of the auto games do. Auto fantasy. Sounds like a car game. Okay, can we focus on names with idle in them and also remove shadows from any of the names? Idle ascendant. I like the word ascendant in here. Is this a thing? No, it's not a thing. Okay, idle ascendant is actually pretty good. At least it's a good working name, and it'll stop me from having to keep spinning on this. Are any of these other ones good? No, let's use that. That'll be the working name of the game for now. Okay, so we'll change this to idle ascendant. And that's at least the working title. The working title of the game is Idle Ascendant. It may actually be too early to name the game given that I haven't finished the design. Okay, so the name was pretty important at least, and we've got a working one, and I think that's good. Call it Atom Formers. All right, so that was this. What is the game called? Make a command, point to this document. Maybe we'll just have it be idle, the points to it. Alias, idle, design, unalias, design. No, it could still be there. I think it's fine. All right, what does the command say though? Yeah, so acom or ecom idle. Adam is making a game or designing a game called Idle Ascendant. It's an RPG that starts out with manual control and slowly becomes more and more automated. Read more about it here. APM not required. So I like this as a catchphrase or a title, although in this case, APM to me implies like a computer game. I think of APM as really mattering in real-time strategy and maybe MOBAs to some extent. I don't know. And for those who don't know, APM is actions per minute. It's just like some games require you to do a lot all at once, and that's a high APM game. Sentence seems a bit, let's say, difficult for a non-native English speaker. Yeah. I at least like the name so far, but the name definitely doesn't have to stick, and we can always rename it. What I didn't want is I don't want to make a GitHub repo at some point called like idle RPG or something, because I feel like I'll just eventually forget what was this, and was this a prototype, was this a real thing? I don't know. Okay. Also, I have to go in about 10 minutes probably, and it might be abrupt because I know that I have something at 11. The Norp Apolog is a recent popular idle game. They just went with a nonsense name. Huh. Yeah. Okay. So make a command. We did that, right? I made it. Yeah. All right. What are the manual actions you're choosing? So I'd started to answer some of these questions, and we're not going to get very far right now. So maybe we should just figure out what's important to figure out for the afternoon. What classes and skill trees are in the game? What does the battlefield look like? How does the automation play out? I kind of started to answer this, I think. I don't think I actually... Yeah, leaning more toward reality number 2. You're in the manual phase for like 10 minutes. Yeah, I like the idea of it quickly getting out of manual control. And actually, I was also thinking about what if you increase the speed of battles pretty rapidly? So the thing I had designed last time was this sort of thing. Every character has a skill tree, and the skill tree starts, the very first skill that you're forced to take is a chance to just automatically take actions. So very early on in the game, you're doing things manually, and then, you level up once, and now only 75% of the time you're doing things manually. And you level up a total of 4 times, and now that's it. Your character is automated. So like, I think that's super cool. I like that idea. That way you're not playing, manual turn-based game for too long. And ideally that'd be a point for you to learn the rules of the game if the rules actually matter. But I don't think they're going to matter that much. This sounds sick. Well, yeah, thank you. I like the ideas, and I want to develop this more. This is what we're going to spend all afternoon doing. It's just I have an obligation in about 15 minutes that's going to make us have to stop for a bit. So it's almost 11, and then at 1 p.m. I should be able to stream again until probably 4 or 5. Then I have another obligation at 5 p.m. So yeah, we should get another like 3 hours of design in. Rename Boatland. Game finished. This is a separate thing from what you did. Yes, it's a separate thing from that. Yeah. And I like that idea that I came up with the NPCs, but that's not the kind of game we're going to make next. The orbs, it's auto attack and defend. Yeah, I haven't played Slay the Spire. My wife played that, and she seemed to really like it. So I only know the very basics of it because I watched her play a little bit. Yeah, so what I want to figure out is, how does the automation play out? What happens with battles? I don't care so much about the party size. Yeah, scaling up I think is important too. It's like, what are you doing in the game? And with a lot of idle games, you're really just coming by and clicking a few buttons every once in a while, and that's it. I want this to be a little bit more involved than that. And that's actually another question I should probably add here, which is like, how idle do I want this game to be? You may trivialize the whole thing by leaving it for hours. And if I don't balance the game around that, then it may lead to a less fun experience. Yeah, so I've played a lot of idle games before, and I think they generally start by having a lot of input and a lot of progress. And I think idle games are kind of scummy generally because I think they play on your, need to see a bar go up. And I don't want this game to be scummy. I want it to be like you pay once and you just ideally have fun, and then that's it. There are no in-game purchases try to get you to like, jump that progress bar higher and then get stuck in a different part of the curve. So anyway, a lot of them start out and they give you a lot of progress. They give you some manual controls, and then you're expected to just have it running like 24/7. And even then, it's an infinite game usually, so that only puts you farther along an endless line. So if people were to do that in this game, they start playing and they're like, okay, I get the idea. And they slowly level up their character manually, and they get to this point where they're at 100% chance to automatically take an action. At that point, the game could be considered idle. And so what I want is for your actions to give your characters more power, but not for it to be this infinite progression. And I need to think of how that's going to work exactly, because that's another question I'm going to have is like, what happens if you get stuck with a character, I guess? Like you can't, like you somehow messed up the skills or something and now can't level up as much anymore. Will it run when you don't have the game open? Some idle games calculated on startup? No, I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking of it's only while you're playing it that it's going to run, and that the idle part of it isn't such a big part. It's like you're still managing stuff. And then I just need to figure out, what are you managing? Yeah. Do I have that written down? Yeah, how idle do I want this to be? Yeah. If it's very idle, then I need to figure out what you're managing. And I don't necessarily want it to be micromanaging things either. Yeah, and I think we can come up with something that works out pretty well here. Just need to think how that's going to work. I also wonder how much a party of characters matters. I wonder if we should make this 1. I think we should just make this 1 for simplicity. You start with 1 character. There's no party management. There's no worrying about party composition. This is something that's kind of interesting because in a lot of RPGs, party composition is a very important part of the game. You typically think of things in terms of roles, and what roles you have are sort of very generally like damage dealer and tank and healer. And so something to absorb some damage for you, something to heal that damage, and something to destroy your enemies. And then you can start splitting these up, right? You typically have like a melee and ranged, and you have spell casting, and then you have hybrid classes, and okay, whatever. But if you don't have a party, or you're expected to be able to play the game solo. So for example, if you picture like the original Diablo or Diablo 2, or probably any of the Diablos, but I'm familiar with these, all of the characters could be on their own and they were all supposed to be a little bit viable. And there was no real healer, I would say. I mean, you could kind of, there were some skills that healed, but it wasn't like there was a dedicated healer class. And so everyone was some combination of like damage dealer and tank, kind of how I look at things. And you kind of had to worry about healing yourself. So that's what happens, I think, when you don't have to have a party in a game. And when you do have a party, you need to consider what are the party dynamics. And I think it adds a level of complexity that just isn't needed for this game. So I think I'm going to do this, yeah. I just don't see the complexity helping the game. Yeah. Where can I read about the game? Yeah, with the idle command. Thank you, Will. And this is like a very hard to consume document other than the first, 3 sections. The design, this section contains areas of the design that are mostly settled, i.e. less up for debate, but they still need to be prototyped. Yeah. Okay, I like this. I think we're gonna capture this in the design. And then I think the big thing we're gonna need to answer is, how idle is this? What are the manual actions you're using, these sorts of things. I'm excited about this. I think there's gonna be a lot of fun stuff to design with this and just figure out ahead of time. And I think knowing whether a game works on paper is a skill that's just very hard to have unless you're basing it on a game that already exists. So if you were like, all right, I'm making Overwatch, but here's a twist to it. It's like, okay, well, you know how Overwatch works, so you can probably figure out if the twist is going to be good. But for something like this, I think I'm kind of blending a couple of genres, and there's always going to be this question at the end, and I should probably ask this, like, questions to ask after designing everything. Does the game benefit from starting out manually at all? Because if it doesn't, it's something that should be dropped, right? So this would be a great time to teach people the rules of combat, but the rules of combat may not matter if it's all automated. And if you ever use those manual controls again in the future, then it may matter. Otherwise, it's essentially just like an intro to a game that just doesn't ever get used again. how does the battle look like an actual animation or dynamic text battle log? I was thinking actual animations. I was originally wondering if battles even need to play out at some point. Like if you picture the original Final Fantasy, again, there were battles like this, right? And a character would move forward and kind of like swing a sword, but they're swinging the sword over here. And then the enemy would have like a slash show up across them or something, and they might flash a little bit. And so like that's the most basic animations you could have, which is, you know, it's not like you're seeing a slash mark appear where this character attacked and there's actually contact with the sword or something. But if the game gets idle enough to the point where battles don't even matter, and let's say battles are playing out at like 50 per second, then you don't even care about the animations. And in fact, they might just kind of lag the game and not really help at all. So I haven't designed that yet. I don't know what's going to happen there. You still know what stats are good in battle and what to focus on upgrading. Is that why manual first? I don't know. We have spent a total of maybe like an hour and a half designing this game so far. So there's not a lot that's gone into it. I don't have a lot of answers to questions yet, and that's why we have more questions than we have design. And yeah, I guess another question is like IRL team. Do I get other people to work on this? And like, how do I split? How do I handle compensation? Yeah, I'm open to this, by the way. I don't know if anyone else is open to this, but, you know, maybe someone who's got a better visual eye than I do, or someone who could code, or I don't know what. And then as a result, if I end up working on this game, another thing I want to consider is to start doing some kind of music production on stream and just see where that takes us. Which one of you is first? All right, I think I got to get going. So I'll be back in a couple of hours. Normally I only take about an hour break, but I got to go from 11 to 1 today, and it's just about 11. So if you find this kind of game idea interesting or the design process interesting, then by all means join for the afternoon. It's probably going to be like 3 hours of design starting in about 2 hours. Yeah. And if you're not interested, then I think if you wait about a week or maybe 2 weeks, I'll probably get to the prototyping phase. And I mean, there's going to be other stream content too, like mentoring stuff is coming up next week. But I got to dash. So thank you all for watching. I will hopefully see you in a couple hours. And if not, hope you have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend and take care.